We would talk to anybody that would talk to us. We started to count how many people we talked to and how many people told us no. And it got to 97 no's when we were pitching. And the number kept moving, right? At one point, we thought it was going to be $1 million. $1 million became 2. 2 became 3. We kept asking the people that were telling us no to refer us to other people.
No real estate experience, no hospitality experience. How do you even start to educate yourself of going down this journey to turn it from idea to a physical location?
I don't think that you need to know everything. And actually, some of the best entrepreneurs are generalists. They're good at just knowing a little bit about a bunch of small things. I've really taken that to heart.
On this episode of Same Game, Different Turf, we have Ryan Wilson, co-founder and CEO of The Gathering Spot. If you know him, you love him. We're going to see a person that started out on a law career, Georgetown Law, and a life event changed the trajectory of that. Now he's into building culture. He's into building community. We're going to see someone who started out with no playbook and just figured it out with grit, will, determination.
So we are in the retreat, the latest addition to the Gathering Spot family of products. How does it feel in this beautiful space?
It feels good, right? I'm excited about. Look, this is our 4th project. First, building something. We didn't build this from scratch, right?
Yeah.
So, building the concept from scratch, but not the physical footprint. But I'm excited, man. Like, I've always wanted our community to have access to the best, and this is the best that I think you're gonna find, certainly in this city.
It's beautiful. I'm excited about it. Let's take a step back though, because young Ryan on this journey to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Mock trials.
All of it.
In high school.
Yep.
You go to Georgetown Law, one of the top law schools in America. And then all that shifts. You come across Trayvon Martin, and that impacted you to where you completely shift gears. Kind of walk me through that journey.
So I always knew growing up that I wanted to be an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that was the best way to be helpful in my community. So what's interesting is that what pivoted was the job, what I was going to be doing every single day. But there's a big distinction between what you're doing and why you're doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why I'm doing the work that I'm doing right now hasn't changed. What I'm doing is absolutely very different than what I imagined. Make a long story short, George Zimmerman's on trial for Trayvon Martin's murder. I had been doing some community organizing work in D.C. I got an email from some friends that simply said, "What are we going to do?" And I responded back saying, "We need to have a physical place to have this conversation." So that was the summer of 2013. And I graduated from law school, but I haven't done anything else since then.
Well, practically speaking, law school is expensive.
Yeah.
You're on a clear path to be successful at this thing. And it's guaranteed to work. And then you get off that clear path and you say, I'm going to go try to create this thing that I don't really know how it works, but I think I can figure it out.
Look, as far as I know, right,
Mm-hmm.
we only get a chance to do life one time. And I figured at that point in my life that if there was a time to take a risk, that was going to be as good a time as any time. I think sometimes people they want a beautiful day and the birds to be chirping, and it's then I'll know to pivot or to move in another direction or to start this thing. That day is not really coming, right? It's more likely going to be what this week has been like.
Yeah.
Sun shining today. It was raining earlier this week. Like that's life.
Yeah.
So, I got to a point where it was look, I can't base making an important decision off of what probably is going to be temporary circumstance. I thought I was going to like being a lawyer, but I didn't know that either. So that feeling more of a sure thing, that was more of a feeling than it was a fact.
Yeah, yeah.
And look, there's no time like the present to get started. So I figured it was, if I was going to try it, let's try it right now.
So you're 24 at the time.
Yeah, a little younger. Yeah, 23, 20, depending on what we're talking about, 22, 23.
23. No real estate experience, no hospitality experience, no background in, beautiful spaces like we're in right now. How do you even start to educate yourself of going down this journey to turn it from idea to a physical location?
We did 2 things. So then I'll say we a lot. So my business partner is one of my roommates from college, TK. And he started to come to my apartment in D.C. We were still living in D.C. at that point. And our goal every single session was to try to take a step, right? And that sounds very cliche, but we would just meet and be like, look, we don't know anything about all the different aspects, right? The real estate part, the hospitality part, the workspace part. We could just keep the goal of this session is to take one of those things and to take a step, right? Like learn something today, figure out how to get better. And then from there, we started to surround ourselves with people that actually knew those things really well. So we would walk into rooms pretty deep, like with a whole army of folks, and would be like, hey, look, I'm not the hospitality person, but like the person that we're working with, this is their 42nd restaurant, I think, at the time, right? We had accountants before there was any money to account for. We had lawyers, right? Like, so we just like at every single position had a resource there, so that when the questions would come in, we would be like, great question. I want to defer to, this person that we put on our team. So I don't think that you need to know everything. And actually, there's been a lot of research recently that some of the best entrepreneurs are generalists, right? Like they're good at just knowing a little bit about a bunch of small things. I've really taken that to heart. I try to have more range than like depth in a single subject, and I ask a lot of questions, so I get to learn more about all of the different particulars. But
now, are you pitching this idea while you're in school and finishing up? Because
for 2L and 3L, I was pitching. I would come back to Atlanta, and we would talk to anybody that would talk to us. We started to count how many people we talked to and how many people told us no, and it got to 97 no's when we were pitching, and the number kept moving. Right, at one point we thought it was going to be $1 million. $1 million became 2 became 3. I got some really important advice though during that season. I gone to my dad. My parents are entrepreneurs, and I was like, look, the number's moving. We're still trying to get our head around like what exactly this thing is going to be. And he was like, look, son, small ideas will keep you small. You have to fight for the best possible version of the idea. And so that version was a $3 million idea, and we just kept pitching. But it was 97, like total, absolute, no thank you, get out of here. But we kept asking, man, we didn't know 97 people. We kept asking the people that were telling us no to refer us to other people. So even after the no. So it'd be like, hey, no, I don't like it. And we'd be like, great. Who else might? And then they a lot of times would hook us up with somebody else.
What are you learning from each no as you move from no to no? Are you same pitch, or are you tweaking things?
No, yeah. So no, look, I really appreciate this question because there are a couple things that you have to learn. One, how people relate to the material is informed by their background. Mm-hmm. So real estate people look at a transaction in a very different way than like hospitality folks. And hospitality folks aren't going to look at it the same way as finance folks, right? So like I started to have to try to learn like, what is this person's background? Are they going to want to hear a story that's more, and I mean, it's still a version of you, right? But one thing I've tried to compare this to is sometimes even when you know that you're a zebra, you have to pitch like a horse.
Yeah.
People understand what a horse is, right? It's a category that's pretty well defined. But a zebra with all the stripes, people can't get all that complexity. So our job every single day was to be like, let me talk to you about not the complexity of our model, but the simplicity that exists. This is a horse.
Yeah.
And that changed everything.
So you're going through this process and you're learning how to pitch to a particular person so that they can understand what it is you will custody their resources with.
Yeah, no, I was going to people and like doing anything that I could to try to just have a meaningful conversation. Like, you're not going to hit a home run in every conversation. You have to like just try your best to get them interested in having a lot of times a part two. They're investing in you though, right? So a lot of the early days is not about how much they like the concept. The concept doesn't exist. The business isn't making any money. They want to know like, what is it? Yeah. And why are you the best person to go make that thing happen? And so that's what we were trying to tap into more than anything. Like, why should you trust me? You can go put your money in a bunch of different things. Why should you put it with us? And how can I continue to show you that not only do I know a lot about what I'm talking about, but like those are more of the kind of quantitative aspects of it. The qualitative parts are that like I'm going to work harder than anyone in the world to make this a reality.
So people hate being rejected. After 5 rejections, it has to sting. After 50, it has to hurt. Do you ever get to the point where you say, you know, I got a real good plan A in this law thing. I'm not even going to pursue this idea no more. Let me go back to the thing that makes sense.
No, my belief is that when you are doing something that you're supposed to be doing, if you see yourself not as randomly pursuing something, but really as a steward of an assignment, then when people tell you no, it isn't no to what you're understanding as your purpose, but like no to their participation in it. So I didn't internalize it past that, right? Like you were saying no to the concept, but you didn't have the authority to invalidate my relationship to it.
Yeah.
And so I respected it, but like I also understood that if we were doing something that was disruptive, that people almost shouldn't get it instantly. So to me, the people that lacked vision were the people that were telling us no, not us, right? And like, look, to be an entrepreneur that's going from ideation to execution, you have to have a little bit of, I mean, it's borderline arrogance. Like you have to believe genuinely that like you're the best person in the world to go and do this. And if you don't believe that, don't go play the game, right? Like this, because there are a lot of people that are going to try to take your heart out of it. You have to be the one that's like, no, like I'm supposed to be doing this. It's not random, right? There's a lot of ideas. We could make up a business. We should make up a business that like solves the knobs on microphones, right? Those ideas are cheap, right? But like, it's when you're deeply convicted to actually like figure this out. There's a reason why that is. So listen to that reason, and again, don't experience it as random. If you do, then all of that other stuff starts to become a distraction, and you might quit. But like, I wasn't even really. I just thought that they like couldn't see it, and that was fine.
Looking at what the gathering spot is now, one could think it was complex because it's co-working, it's event, it's restaurant, but I've heard you say like all that is kind of a shell to house community.
It's a tool.
How do you even sell community, and how'd you understand that community was the thing that was going to drive all this forward? I
mean, to investors, to be honest with you, I didn't, right? So it's like this, back to this like zebra horse distinction. If I knew that you were a horse person, I would talk to you in the language that you like to be spoken to. Like I didn't try to like bring you into community. I mean, I wasn't hiding things. Like you got to take all of what I'm saying here, and you don't not take it to the extreme. Your goal though is to try to like relate and map the concept onto another framework. So I understood that like, look, at the end of the day, if your passion was real estate, I needed to try to give you that part of our model. I'll tell you like a person that was, it's funny how life goes. A person that I didn't know at the time who actually lives in Atlanta now, and I deeply respect as an entrepreneur, Tristan Walker. So Tristan at the time, right, was launching Bevel.
Yeah.
And he was launching Bevel and presenting it like a tech company. But Bevel is not a tech business. The first product was a razor, right?
Yeah.
It was like a straight edge razor. But I would watch Tristan pitch because what he understood was that in the world he was in, Silicon Valley, they liked tech, right? And like he was able to translate how they were thinking about growth, the product packaging, all of that, almost like it was an iPhone.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so again, it's like who's writing all these rules about how we have to describe our stuff? He wasn't misleading anyone, but he gave everybody a different lens to look through to see what he was building.
Yeah.
And then he was able to raise money, right? So I did the same thing. I was like, look, all right, community's a little bit difficult to get, but co-working at the time was getting hotter. Everybody understood what restaurants were. Event kind of real estate driven opportunities, that's easier to understand. Let's focus on that and less on like me trying to connect people, which was the thing that, really what the business was about. So, I don't know, like understand that you're a zebra, but pitch like a horse.
Yeah. Tristan has I think it's a Stanford speech where he's talking and he said, I understood I was uniquely qualified to solve this problem.
Yes.
And through that unique qualification, no one else saw through the lens that I saw through to
Absolutely.
Go produce what is now proven to be an extremely successful product like TGS.
Yeah. No, but you have to fundamentally, some of this is like entrepreneur talk, but a lot of it for me is just like life talk.
Yeah.
You have to get to a spot where like when you're doing a thing where you're like, look, I might not be the smartest person in the room, I might not have all of the resources that everyone else has, but like I can tell you this, no one is about to apply themselves more to this thing than me.
Yeah.
And I believe that to this day. Like, we have gone up and still go head to head against companies that like are much larger than us. Like balance sheets, much more significant. But like, I don't believe they're willing to go to the places that I'm willing to go to make these businesses work. And I might be wrong about that, but I'm gonna have to go see that. Like I gotta go experience that. You're gonna have to like beat me. Like I'm gonna have to go feel the loss. Like I'm not gonna like lose sitting outside of the arena. Like I gotta go play and lose.
Where does that drive come from? That almost feels like athlete-ish in your relentlessness.
So it's and there was a Drake line years ago when he came out where he was like he was talking about the relationship between athletes and rappers, and he was like we want to be them, they want to be us.
Yeah.
And like, so I'm not an athlete, right?
Yeah.
But like I have always admired the mindset that it takes to compete at a really high level. And I'm competitive. Like I want everybody to have their fair share of the pie, right? But that doesn't mean that like I'm not going to eat either, right? So there's an edge to this to me. It's not all driven by this isn't all milk and honey over here. I am driven by the idea that there are other people that I'm playing against, and I don't believe all the times those people even see it that way, which is bothersome to me. And let's go play. Like we have to. This is a full contact situation for me. I've not done anything else in my life, right? So I tell people that all the time. Like I have not done anything else in my life professionally. So if you think that you're willing to go to a place to win like further than me, all right, let's go do that. let's go play.
We talked about this a little bit before this, but one of the things that you do that most people, I don't know if they know about you, is that you're actually introverted.
Yeah.
In a community aspect, you got 12,000 members and you care deeply about connecting with them. The ability to put yourself outside of your comfort zone to still reach the mission when you're hosting events and you're meeting people and you're connecting people. Like, talk about that aspect of it.
So I am an introvert, truly. There's some research on this too. Like introverts have been shown to like think differently about how to build experiences because they think about it through the perspective of a person that won't be comfortable in the room. So like I'm always looking at it through the lens of like, for the person that's like me, like how will this be, right? Like, this is like you're just gonna walk in here and sit by yourself, or that's not an experience. It's not community building, right? So I think about, okay, well, what touch point would help make it more comfortable? Can I sit you with someone or prompt a question or start an icebreaker? Like, how could I make this a little bit better? The second thing though, on the introverted side is like, I guess it goes back to that competitive spirit where it's like, look, if I am only in service of my, if you want to call it shyness, that will limit the other things that I want to do. And I'm just not willing to do that, right? Like, so I will acknowledge it for what it is. It's not naturally like how I'm predispositioned to show up. But if I can't push past that, then all the other things that I do want to go do, those things might not happen because I'm sitting here like serving a thing that isn't serving me. So I have to recharge. I have to take breaks. I have a whole set of like different ways to cope, for lack of a better way to say that. But the idea of like I'm not gonna show up because I am an introvert, that just doesn't.
But we're in a time now where people like put these labels on themselves, and then those labels like show out in life where I'm this or I'm that, and so that limits my ability to do whatever. And it's kind of an excuse, but
I mean, like you have to think about why you're trying to do the thing that you're trying to do, and then like, is that other thing more important than that? Right. So like, I'm not willing to let being an introvert be more important than making the business happen, right? Like, so I got to figure that out, right? I mean, and it's kind of an is like, it's not. I try not to have a strong feeling about it. It's just if I want it to work, it's got to work somehow. Right?
Yeah.
And my attitude has always been, if I have an opportunity to have an opportunity, well, thank God, right? So
Yeah.
I can't get to that place and then be like, well, I'm shy.
Yeah.
So we did all this other stuff, but I don't really, talking to people is hard for me. So I guess we should
Close the doors.
close it. I'm good. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
So I play the other side of it, and like I try to stay aggressive.
Yeah.
Again, I take breaks. This is not some superhero talk.
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I have to do things intentionally to say, nope, hold on, let me go over there. Let me do this. Let me do that. But like at the end of the day, it's not more important than what is the main thing.
You figured out how to do what works for you to allow you to perform in the mission, in the thing that you've been called to do.
Yeah. I'm sure. I mean, again, to compare it to athletics, right? Like you can always say, well, I'm not as tall or as strong or I didn't train as long or I didn't. I mean, you hear all this stuff. It's like I didn't play AAU and I didn't. It's like, yo, do you want to win? Like at a certain point, if
you figure out how to compete,
figure out the go around, right? And so I have all different types of things to try to help me navigate what would be harder circumstances for me. I prepare more, right? Like I have to like spend more time trying to understand what the environment's going to be so that I don't walk in and get surprised by what's happening. Well, okay, like those are the cards I've been dealt, right? So like, I mean, I either play them or I don't.
Yeah.
And like not playing them just feels. And I saw the thing the other day. It was a post online, and it was like the average life expectancy for men right now is 74 years old, which means that in your 30s or 40s, depending on what numbers you want to look at, that's half life.
That's
like
half
you
life.
like, I'm at halftime basically right now. I don't have any more time to waste being introverted or any other things. Like this is I'm at halftime. I'm about to come back out of the tunnel, and like
You better be ready to
I
go.
got 2 more quarters to make this thing shake, right? So there's a real urgency to this right now.
You just spoke of preparation, and I think one of the things that I admire about you is you've had to deal with volatility. You've had to deal with challenges. Walk me through COVID of just how y'all prepared for that, how y'all navigated that. Once again, you're in a community that is used to meeting in physical location where no one was able to.
I mean, I think it gets back to, again, a distinction between what and why, right? So what we were doing was gathering people in person. Why we were doing it is because we believe that community building and relationship building is really important. So COVID hits, what we're doing immediately changes. We cannot gather in person in the way that we always wanted to. Why we were doing the work did not have to change. So we had to figure out the what or the how we were going to make that happen. But like, it for me is like, if you're in tune with your values and what you care about, everything else becomes a means to an end.
Yeah.
And so that's how I looked at COVID. It was uncomfortable. My daughter was born, the world closed in March. She was born in April, right? Like first child, it was, I'm not like saying this was some pleasant time.
No.
But what I did to try to get through it is that we continued to talk about, well, okay, what do people need? Well, before there were PPP loans, there was We All We Got, and we were distributing cash directly to businesses. That was a program that we started where we said to the membership, if you stay here, we will reinvest those dollars right back to businesses in the community. We'll keep our team employed, right? We had a call that we created in the morning called Stay Encouraged, where a member of the community would get on the call and just say an encouraging word to everybody else. So how or what the activities changed, but none of the foundational reasons why we were doing any of those activities changed. And so, like, over time, thank you to every person that was a part of this, ways large or small. That's how we got through it. And I have this thing at this point, there are so many different seasons of. There's the startup season of getting the business off the ground, and then trying to expand the business, and then hitting COVID in the middle of that expansion. We were acquired at one point, reacquired the business. Like, there's been all sorts of different chapters, but we never have lost sight of why.
Yeah.
And that to me is the enduring principle.
You say we a lot.
Yeah.
You're like the ultimate team player. And I was watching you and TK interact. That's a 15-year brotherhood that's rock solid. And thinking about some of the members that have been here with you, Samantha, all these people that are here. talk to me about just like how you view team and relationships and partnerships and
Yeah,
when it
I
goes
appreciate
well.
you and pointing out. It's not even like an intentional,
Yeah.
intentional thing for me. I mean, I've maintained for a really long time that it went from being a me thing to a we thing, basically at the first email that I ever sent about the business, right? Going back to July of 2013. And so there are a whole bunch of parts of this business that like I just like actually can't do, right? I can't cook. You don't want me to bartend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an expert in ops, right? Like a lot of this is I mean, like legitimately is a like this is a team sport. Like
Yeah.
I've never been able to do any parts of it, nor do I want to alone. So yeah, as I talk about it the way that I experience it, which is that I work with a lot of good people, and those people help us collectively to win, right? So we are actually doing this. I'm at this point. I mean, as we're having this conversation right now, I have an entire team in Los Angeles. If I wanted to get there today, I couldn't.
Yeah.
So we have to show up and do the best that we can do because, I'm not there to drive that. I've got another team in DC right now. We have to like be doing the best that we can do because I'm not there. So, you have to embrace that you're part of a larger effort. Otherwise, if it's a you thing, well, I mean, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, not this version of it.
Sometimes we live in this like individualized culture where people think they want to own the whole thing. They want to be the face of the whole thing. They need the attention, and it's like it just flows so seamlessly here and everybody knowing their role. What do you do to make all that work and not damage friendships and keep the longevity of people that want to?
I promise I'll answer your question, but like I think that love of like whatever that is, of like people really liking the attention, for lack of a better way to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody should trust that, right? Like one of the more powerful moments that I ever had at TGS, I watched a well-known artist walk in, and this person growing up for me, everybody knew, but nobody knew when he was walking in years ago. This is probably almost 10 years ago, and I remember watching how deflated he was because, like, at one point in his life, it was like, clear the line of the club, get him in here right now. And then now it's like, so I don't trust that, right? Like at the end of the day, what people are going to remember are the real actual friendships that you had, the real actual family. All this other stuff, right? Like all these IG, like
everybody wants to be famous though.
Man, look, I don't get it because we could pick any award that you want to right now, and I'd say, hey, who won that in 2009? Neither one of us know. Half the time, people can't barely remember, even in major professional sports, who won the championship last year.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, when you start getting into the, like, who was on the 40 under 40 in 2021? So, like, falling in love with that stuff to the point where you start to, like, idolize it in a way, like you're gonna get your feelings hurt, right? Because life is going to continue to move on. All right, so the thing you actually asked me was about like how do we build team?
Yeah, build team, keep it together, all that.
I mean, look, we're all in this thing together. So, I mean, I try to engage people as what they are, human beings. I don't ask people to do things that I'm not willing to do myself. I mean, at the end of the day, like I try to give you the autonomy to run whatever part of the race is yours, like own it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think through that people understand that we care about them, but that like I'm not here to, I'm not here to be the man, right? Or like I want to work with you to try to win. So if you're down with that, cool, let's build. If you're not, that's maybe where we get into a little bit of trouble. But like beyond that, like I don't have any interest. Now I'm going to do my job. I've got to make some tough calls, right? It's not always pleasant. Not every conversation is going to be pleasant. But I think my folks understand that like all of this comes from a true point of passion, the good conversations and the bad ones.
Yeah.
And I want to win.
Yeah.
So I think more than anything, people respect that energy, and they know that it's not coming from a place that's bad.
And I guess to carry that through on tough conversations, and you don't have to get into details of what all happened, but y'all partnered, y'all no longer partnered, and now there's a new vision. How do y'all like move forward? Like, what did you learn through that process? How does that shape how you and TK lead moving forward?
For us, it was really about fully like there's moments, right? There's like inflection points where like you have to really discover again, like, are you really like living what you're rapping about, right? So I said for a long time, we're in the community business, we're not in the space business.
Yeah.
Right. So COVID is a stress test on that, right? Community, like if we're not in the community business, we're not in the space business either because it's closed. So we went through the process of being we were acquired, right? And then we did that, believing that it was a good opportunity collectively. We realized that it wasn't the best place for, I think, everybody collectively. And then so we made steps to change the circumstances. There are things I guess you learn through that process, but for me, again, it was more of an affirmation of the like, we're in the community business, not the space business, and this journey is not random, right? And like, I don't, I get the question a lot. Like, do you regret this, that, or the other? No.
Yeah.
No, I make the best decisions that I can when I'm making them.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a failed exercise to be like, I would, as long as you can legitimately look yourself in the mirror and say, was that the best decision that I could have made then?
Yeah.
That context matters. And so it was. And then was it also the best decision that I could make when we decided to not work with one another?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And the net of all of that is that we're sitting here in a new opportunity for us. It's probably the best opportunity that we've had all together. So like, but if I didn't go through all of that, we would not be sitting here right now.
Yeah. One of the things I pick up on you is your adaptability of processing things as they happen in real time, doing what you need to do in real time, moving on, and then continue to replay that to get y'all to where the best outcome is of what makes sense.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I grew up playing golf. Well, one of the sports I played was golf. And, I grew up in that Tiger era, right? And so Tiger introduced like a toughness, a competitiveness to the game. But one thing that I think he often is overlooked for doing is that Tiger's ability to, no matter where the ball is on the course, adjust to that circumstance is probably like among one of his greatest superpowers. Like he hits the ball where it is.
Yeah.
And doesn't, I mean, they say this in golf all the time. It's like, if you focus on the fact that you just had a bad tee shot, then you're probably going to have a bad shot out of the rough. And you like it's just going to keep
compounding.
So you got to address the ball where it is. And I have tried to take that lesson from golf and other kind of parts of my life and just be like, yeah, look, what's the best I can do right now? What am I seeing? What am I experiencing? Don't forget it. Like, you got to get to the next hole and like remember the fact that you turned your hips too quickly or you came through the ball. Like you learn something from it. But at the end of the day, if you have another opportunity to have an opportunity, go play the next hole the best way that you can. So like, what just happened is it happened. Like I can't change those circumstances. So like sitting here being sad about it, it's not gonna really change much for me. So I might as well jump into the new thing that's in front of me. That's where people get stuck, right? They get so caught up on the last hole that like, oh, you have 17 more. Like, go play.
People anchor on those things. They hurt them. They it's like that cost me the future, or they think that one thing determines the fate of everything else.
Until you go study people that you respect and then go look at their lives and realize that like, wow, they were doing this and this and this and then that, right? Like, you got introduced to them in the glory era. Like, go look at the actual bios of most of the people that you respect. It wasn't some like glorious journey, or even if it started glorious, right? It has moments in it where it was like, ooh. And then that thing a lot of times becomes the setup for the next. So like, you got to look at this with a little bit of a longer lens and realize that like, you're not likely having that much of a different experience than anybody else.
Yeah, most of the people I respect that come from that point of view, they have real battle scars. They're not just making stuff up. You know, we're in the TikTok, Instagram era where everybody's like, you can make $1 billion overnight. But these people are like, whew, 10 years ago, this is what I was really dealing with. And then I failed here. And then I had this twist happen. Then I lost this. And then this turn happened. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't know any of
That's
that
life.
shit. Yeah.
That's how the game actually plays. It doesn't matter what, like, I mean, we could actually even be talking about an actual game, right? Like, there's likely a moment in the game. Most games aren't blowouts.
Yeah.
There was likely a moment in the game where, like, they would have caught that pass or made that shot that, like, it could have changed the dynamics a little bit. So, like, you have to be okay with the idea that, like, there's going to be, that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And, like, I take a lot of pride in the fact that when those moments come that, like, I try to zoom out, like, almost in real time, like, almost try to view it like this is going to be an interesting chapter of my life.
Yeah.
But if I get stuck in it, I can't get out of it. So, like, let me view this with from a wider scope. And I mean, look, I do at the end of the day believe that it's going to work out.
Yeah. To shift gears a little bit, one of the things that I think people really embrace about you is that you're a trusted voice. You have a clear point of view and you speak out on a lot of things, which as a business owner, some people shy away from that because it's like, oh, it could alienate some of my community. It could affect my business. It could affect me. How do you view some of that?
To me, it's all politics. Everything's political, right? So, like, this idea that, like, there is a world that is, this microphone, right, got here some way, right? Somebody paid for it. There's a bunch of regulation just in me being able to have the ability to talk in this thing, right? Like, even frankly, being where we are right now, the city had to allow it, the state had to allow it, right? There's all sorts of permits. That's all policy, right? That's all, like, very intentional decisions. So people that say that, like, oh, I exist outside of politics, well, it's like, how? Like, how do you, what do you, from the moment that you put your socks on in the morning, like, that was their politics informed your ability to do that in every single way. So I start there, right? I don't embrace this idea that, like, now I do think that there's a difference between understanding that and, like, directly engaging it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for what we do, we have the responsibility to talk about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a bunch of great people together that are doing a bunch of different things, the youngest member right now is 21, oldest is 93. What is the point of bringing all those people together if we're not talking about where we are and where we're going?
Yeah.
Oh, like, the idea of building a space just so we can sit in here and look at each other and be self-congratulatory is just not my idea of a good time. So we engage in politics because at the end of the day, what is going to be remembered is what we stood for, and what we are standing for a lot of times is going to engage what we care about, which is going to bump up against our politics.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I take the responsibility seriously, and it's not a casual thing for me. I think that I'm one of those, like, we have a responsibility.
Yeah.
It's beyond, like, it'd be nice, you know, and again, I respect people's decisions to kind of look at this differently, but being for nothing, that really honestly isn't even a thing either. Like, even in silence, like, you're signaling something.
Yeah.
So what do you want to be remembered for? And you don't have to take my style or approach. Maybe your style or approach is to call your friends over to dinner and talk to them privately about issues that you care about. But the idea that you're just totally not going to engage, I'll end here. For the people that believe that they don't do politics, politics is doing you. So I would rather be the, like, person that is on offense in that discussion than, like, defensively
accepting it,
just having anything happen, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not what's going on. Like, even if you don't do politics, someone is thinking about you right now, every aspect of you.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm just uncomfortable with the idea that you feel like you have more of an ability to think and action against me and my folks and me just sit here and be like,
Just step it.
hope that you make good choices. Like,
That ain't happening.
no, thank you. I would like to know what's going on, why you feel that way about it, and to inform the discourse. That's the thing that people get wrong about this. It isn't politicians delivering stuff to us. When done correctly, we are delivering things to them. If you look at communities that feel very comfortable, a lot of times they feel comfortable because they know deep down in places sometimes they won't even acknowledge publicly that they'll go tell their person, hey, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Because they're engaged in the process. So if
Yeah.
you're not in a position where you feel like you have that sort of agency, ask yourself why, right? Because there are other communities that absolutely feel differently about this. They feel like they're gonna that more than they have a voice, that they are they are the authority.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like any good HOA, man. Like people sign up for that for a reason. They're not about to let anything just happen to their house.
Yeah.
Are you going to be the person that just gets the notice in the mail? I can't be that person.
Can't be that person. You talk a lot about you wanting to be a positive influence, positive impact on someone else, everyone that you come across. And I can't let you walk out of here without talking about a person that, you know, had a positive impact on you, that being your dad. How has he shaped you, watching him build a business ground up, and just all the things that you've learned he's imparted on you throughout this journey?
Yeah, no, my dad is unique.
Yeah.
I don't make it like him anymore. He's had a lot of success in business, and we can talk about that. But right, the thing that I've always respected more is like, again, why, right? Like he deeply cares about the people that he works with, very loyal. Some of the things that we've been able to, you know, now knocking on the door of a decade, replicate just with having teams that are with you for a long periods of time. I saw that from him, right? Like he stuck with his folks and they stuck with him. So look, I owe a ton, right, to being able to see that example, and to have the example not just be about building big businesses and trying to be successful, but like, again, at the end of the day, no one, hopefully, or I think ever, I don't think this really happens, no one stands at your funeral and is like, here lies successful business guy. They're going to talk about how they, like, what impact that you had on people, right?
Yeah.
The opportunities that you provided, how you showed up in this moment or that, right? Like that ultimately at the end of the day is the only scorecard that's actually being kept. I have never been to a funeral where people do the like, and in conclusion, let me talk to you about the vehicles that this person had. And did you know about their jewelry, right? Like nobody cares about any of that. People care about how you showed up and how you made them feel. That's what I try to stay focused on, right? Because the rest of it just isn't actually part of the actual scorecard.
Yeah.
And I'm like in tune with that, right? Like I'm like more than accepting of it. I'm like, that's how this thing is ultimately going to play out.
Yeah. And last question for you. You care a lot about your people, about your community. Why do you care so much? It's a big question, but like, it's a deep, everybody that I've talked to prior to this, like that is the through line. Like you truly, genuinely care. You stick your neck out. You're invested. Like why? Where does that come from?
I mean, I think that's the tradition that I come from, right? So it's less of like a thing that I've decided, right? But I think that's like, that is the tradition that I think we all collectively come from. Care, right, of one another. There is no point in it being individually successful. What would that do? What would what joy would that actually bring? I want to be in a context. Again, I think sometimes it's described as like to care about your community is really all about them and not about you. No, like I'll be honest with you. Like I care about my community because I do care about myself, and I want to be in an environment that like actually makes sense for me as well, right? So, yeah. I think though that there are people and moments where you have to think about, again, when it's all said and done, how did you play the game? And I don't want to be remembered or even halfway thought of as a person that only was focused on me in the like very individualistic sense of the word. there's a lot at stake, right? And I fundamentally believe the things that I have had the opportunity to experience, and frankly, even things that I haven't had the opportunity to experience yet, I want to see other people be able to make those things happen in their life too. So I don't know. I don't think it's a thing that's taught, or like it should be taught. That's the tradition, right? That is what life ultimately is judged on. So I'm more than anything, man, I'm grateful, right? That like this all could play out very differently. I get born in slightly different circumstances, and we're not having this conversation. So if I have the benefit of being able to talk about that in that way, well, then I have the responsibility to make sure that some other people will be able to see whatever I've had the chance to see too.
Well, I appreciate you. You played a game at an extremely high level.
Man.
And look forward to continue to watch you play at a high level.
I appreciate you too. Like your example, all in all of the different seasons of your life, genuinely is something that's inspiring, because you're a person that plays the game, like plays it hard, right? Like does it with excellence, does it with care, right? Like all of that for me, those are the heroes in our community, right? The people that show up, that take care of their friends and their family, and that show people, it's hard to become something that you haven't seen before, but show people what genuinely can happen. So thank you for talking to me.
Forever, bro.